Fix this eyelash real quick and yeah, looking good. Okay.
Hey y'all!
What's up everyone and welcome back to my channel and happy summer. It is officially actually summer because it's actually hot outside and not raining or snowing or hailing for some reason. Mother Nature, global warming. Anyway, so y'all, I am back with a DIY and I know a lot of you have been waiting so patiently and I thank you all so much for just being just so awesome and supportive throughout this time. As you know, I've been going through a lot of, ups and downs and just trying to kind of figure out and reorder, my life and my channel and just really focusing on the things that make me happy and the things that I want to share with you all. So as you can guess, this video is going to be about how I made this dress right here. Now, of course, before we get into the details, if you want to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to turn on your notifications by hitting that bell button so you know when I post a new video, because sometimes YouTube don't be telling people when I post videos. So, still here, your girl's still here, hello. So as you can tell by the title, this dress is, yes, made out of tank tops and $6 fabric I found off of eBay, and literally went to Walmart, bought two $1.68, $1.70 tank tops, put these joints together, and then bought 2 yards of fabric. So all in all, it was $6 per yard, so like all in all, it was like under $15. And so before more lip gloss gets into my mouth, let's get started with this video and yeah. So to get started, here's what you need. First, we need a skirt. It's gotta be cute and it's gotta be fitted, but more so fitted because the cute part doesn't actually matter. Then we're gonna need 2 tank tops, one that fits you and one that's a little bit larger. So I got a small and I got a large. And then we're gonna need our fabric, about 2 yards of this, our handy dandy scissors, and of course your straight pins, as well as your measuring tape. And here's where I thought I had all my materials, but lies. You also need some chalk, as well as your handy dandy sewing machine that is extra clunky and dunky. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm laying out the larger of the tank tops out flat, and we're gonna start with our skirt. So we're just gonna plop that onto there, and then just ever so carefully and gently, not really, we're going to trace around it with chalk. So right here I am folding the shirt in half because I actually liked one side better than the other. So in order to make them both equal and identical, I folded it in half and then I just cut along the edge that I liked. And yeah, so I had 2 equal sides. And then I ended up making it into kind of like a pencil skirt shape. So I rounded off that bottom edge, kind of snipping it at the bottom and then rounding it off with some chalk. And then kind of give it a little bit more of like a curved edge to give it that, hippie shape. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Hippie shape, right? Yeah. All right, so afterwards we're going to go ahead and pin our pieces together. So we have 2 pieces, a front and a back. I'm just gonna pin that in place and get ready for the sewing machine. Side note, I didn't add any seam allowance because this is stretchy material. So that's totally up to you if you want to do that. So we're gonna put that aside for later, and yeah, so let's work on our shirt. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create our desired design for our shirt. So basically I'm going down about, let's say 4 inches from the armpit, and that gives me an excuse to use the word armpit. Anyways, yeah, so we are making this sort of triangular shape that's very similar to a bralette. And so once I slowly but surely finish this side, I'm going to slowly but surely move on to the next side in hopefully what is to be soon. Okay, great. So now we are on the other side, y'all, and once I finish that, I'm gonna go ahead and just snip away and cut that first side off, and then I'm going to use that piece that I cut off to guide me in the second portion or the second half. And yeah, so snip that away, and now we're going to flip it over to the back and just cut off this back piece right here where you see. And yeah, so we're just gonna snip on one side and then snip on the other side and then snip all the way through. So just make sure you're cutting just that back layer off, not the front layer. And then once we finish that, we're just going to cut off the straps at the very top. So now we're going to go back to our front side, and we're going to just go ahead and snip off the spaghetti straps. So starting from where we left off, we're just going to cut away at that spaghetti strap, making sure not to interfere with the seam of the spaghetti strap. And so you don't have to like sew anything else, because we are trying to do the least amount of work. So yeah, now that we got our straps all done, we're gonna go ahead and cut this baby in half. And what we'll do first is we're gonna take a ruler that I totally forgot to mention you need, but yeah, you need a ruler. So we're going to measure the width of the top, and I'm trying to decipher which is inches versus centimeters, because I can't read the little thingies on here. And then once we find that width, we're going to find the center of that width and mark that with chalk. And then we're going to extend that line from top to bottom using our ruler and our chalk. And this will, basically create a guide for which we will cut in half the top. Now, I actually only cut the top layer, but you're going to end up cutting, it all in half anyway. So you can go ahead and just cut through both layers if you'd like, but if you want to just follow it the way I'm doing it, go ahead. So now we are going to finish creating that desired shape. So I'm just pinning it at the top to kind of help me, keep everything steady. And then I'm carrying the neckline down. So from that top point, I'm just carrying that neckline down to kind of create this plunge neck, because everything I do has to have a plunge neck, because I'm that B. Haha, censorship. Anyway, so now I am, after I finish that, I am going to go ahead and fold it in half, because everything has to be equal. So I am finished folding in half, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it at the top, and I'm going to take my little scissors here and go ahead and just cut along that guide so that I can replicate that same shape to the other side. So this is what it should look like after you cut the pieces. Now you don't obviously have to do all that folding in half, but if you are a stickler for equality, you would have to do that. But anyway, so now I'm just taking the skirt that we made, and I'm just placing it on my top just to kind of see where I want, or rather how long I want the dress to be, and how skimpy I want it. So after I decide on that, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the excess off. So basically I decided where my waistline was gonna be, and I used the skirt as a guide because it kind of has the hips, you know what I'm saying? You see what I did there? And so what I did was I pinned it where I wanted to cut it, and then I just drew a line across and just cut it along that line. So now I have my top at my desired length, and voila. And now, first of all, my legs are looking real good and not as ashy as they actually were. So anyway, I took the straps off of the first tank top that we cut to make the skirt. And this is totally optional, y'all. If you need to extend your straps, you can just use the straps from the initial piece and then connect it to that front piece that we cut the straps off from, and then we're gonna go ahead and pin it like so. But now we're gonna move back into our skirt, the fun part. So we're gonna take our embroidered fabric, and I just want to show you all something real quick, just to kind of tell the difference between the front and the back, or rather the right side versus the wrong side. The right side has this sort of smooth embroidery, whereas the wrong side has more of these jagged edges. So you can kind of tell the smoothness of it versus the jagged, etchings on the back. So if that helps, hopefully it does. Anyway, so moving on to more ashy knees, we are measuring out how long we want our skirt portion to be. And so I started from about 2 inches above my belly button and measured down to about right above my ankles. So it was about 38 inches. Now, using that same measurement, I added about 1 inch. Yes, I have a turmeric mask on. I'm just letting you know that's not mustard on my face, but it could be. I don't know. So now I'm measuring that out. And I added 1 inch seam allowance. So it's about 39 inches. Looking back, I would have actually wanted this skirt to be more floor length. So kind of wish I did that. So definitely do that if you want that. Now, I'm placing my skirt, and I am placing on top of my fabric. And here's another little oopsie I did. I should have added more seam allowance. I only added about like 1 inch around the skirt, and then I kind of flared it out. So I would definitely give this about 2 inches just to give it more give, since it isn't a stretchy fabric. But as you see here, I gave it some seam allowance, and then I flared it out at the bottom to kind of create this A-line. So you kind of follow the pattern of your skirt, and then right before you get to the edge or right after the hips, you just flare it out. And then now I'm just making sure that the pieces are facing right sides together and wrong sides out. And then we're gonna get ready to pin this baby. And so we're just gonna take all day. This is probably the longest part, I think, actually everything was long. So we're just going to pin everything down just so we can prepare it for sewing. And then after that, we're going to move back to our top. Now again, like I said, I ended up cutting the top in half, but you can see here where I tried to repair the little boo-boo that I had made. But anyway, it didn't really matter. So right here, I just placed my top piece onto my fabric, and I'm just cutting around it in the shape of the top so that we have those 2 pieces. And now I'm going to place them on top of each other, right sides facing. Now before I close it off, I'm going to insert the strap, and that's going to be facing downward. So you're going to start at the tip of your top piece, and then you're going to cover it with that embroidered fabric, and we're going to just pin everything in place at that very tip or very top tip. Now when you're pinning it, make sure you do not pin the bottom because we're going to be turning this or flipping this right sides out later on, so just keep that bottom portion closed. And now it's the time you all been waiting for, sewing time. So we're going to just go ahead and sew along the places that we pinned, and it's all pretty self-explanatory, so I just kind of sped through this part so that this video wouldn't be a year long. So afterwards, I just sewed everything down, starting with the skirt, as you see here. And then I moved on to the embroidered skirt and just sewed along the edges. And then we're going to sew the top and just close that off. And once we finish that, we're going to cut it in half, which we totally could have done in the beginning, but your girl just figured this out right now. And yeah, so I open that up or cut that in half, open it up and flip it right sides out. And I just loved how it turned out. This makes it look so clean and nice and crisp, like, Project Runway style. Maybe your girl might enter one day. Who knows? We'll see. Okay. So now we are going to close that edge off because we're going to be sewing that to our skirt later on, and we just want to make sure everything is all together and nothing is out of place. And once we finish that, we're going to add some straps. Now the top, obviously because it was stretchy, but because we added the embroidered lace, it kind of made it a little bit tighter. So I added these straps not only as decorations but also as extensions to make this joint a little bit more breathable. So you feel me? All right, and now we're just going to finish those edges off to make it clean. So once you have that, you are going to attach your black skirt to embroidered skirt. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to funnel the black skirt into the embroidered skirt. So make sure everything is right sides out, so no raw edges are showing. Everything is in the correct way. And we are just going to put the black skirt into the embroidered skirt, and we're going to attach them at the top. So we're going to add our straight pins all around the opening and just attach them, make sure they're flush with each other. And then yeah, we're gonna get to sewing. So after we sew and sew and sew, this is what it should look like. So this is the halfway finished product, and now we're gonna attach our top. So to do so, we just put on our skirt and we decide where we want to place our top pieces, and then flip them upside down, making sure right sides are touching. And then we're just going to pin them in place and take them to the machine and sew this baby up. So you definitely can see that I added a zipper because it was a little tight for the embroidered part. So because I didn't add that extra 2-inch seam allowance to make it a little bit more breathable. But the black skirt was perfectly fine. It was just the embroidered skirt that needed a little stretch. So added that zipper, but now you see I'm adding the straps to the back. So we're going to go ahead and make sure the right sides are touching and just sew along those lines.
So once you are finished sewing that, we're just going to close off the edges of our straps just to give them a nice clean finish, as I always say. And once you finish that, now it's time to figure out these straps real quick. Now I did not sew down the extender pieces I added because I wanted to see how long it was going to be, but I'm just showing you how to attach the straps in general once you figure out your desired length. And so here is the dress, hot off the press and ready to wear, baby. So I'm super proud of this right here, y'all, and I hope that you all try it too because it is so much fun. I know it's a lot of steps, but if you do try it, definitely send me a picture via Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat, and I would love to check it out. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you soon, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and bye.